No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Break It Down with Brian H. I am your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. So, folks, before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the Wrestling Realm by hitting the bell notification on your YouTube channel or from your YouTube channel to ours. Make sure you click subscribe. When you hit the bell notification, you get a notification every time one of these episodes drop, and every time the real Dwayne Allen and I drop a new episode or segment from the Wrestling Realm. Now, let's get right into it. This episode, Bayley, Sasha Banks channeling their inner Vince McMahon, their inner Vinnie Mac. There's no doubt about it. Sasha and Bayley have turned full-fledged heel. Now, you know, some people may say there's no heels or faces in wrestling. Bayley's, quite frankly, she's tired of doing what you people want her to do. She's tired of smiling. That's why she cut down the Bayley buddies, or whatever you want to call them. Those balloons. She was sick of it. She joined The Miz this past Friday on Smackdown on Miz TV. Her and Sasha Banks. And people say, well, Sasha's in her shadow now. They're best friends. Sasha's happy. She's the champion. So why wouldn't she be by her side? Why wouldn't she do some of the dirty work for Bayley? And, you know, Bayley just, quite frankly, she's tired of living for everybody else. And at the end of it, she quoted Vince McMahon. Life sucks, then you die. Excuse me. So I'm interested to see where they are going with this. Sasha and Bayley as a two-headed tandem, a two-headed monster. And we'll see. We saw a little bit of this with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Two people who we knew they were best friends outside of the business, but put on some of the best matches inside the ring. And now they're best friends. Sasha and Bayley was different because we saw them being best friends. Then we saw them being bitter enemies. Then we saw them have these therapy, essentially, and which led them to eventually becoming the first tag team champions of the modern era. Then Sasha went on hiatus. And everybody thought, okay, that means for Bayley to kind of get upset at Sasha, especially when Bayley won Money in the Bank, cashed in immediately. So, okay, she'll, her and Sasha can have this beef. But no, they're giving them to us together. And that's what I like. Now, what I would love to see is somehow, some way, Vince McMahon get involved. You might say, where am I going with this? Well, if you've been paying attention to Sasha Banks' tweets since her return back in the end of August, she's constantly thanked Vince. She's constantly thanked him for the ability, essentially, that she could take care of herself. Vince McMahon provided her with this opportunity. Sasha's rich. She's been thanking him. Bayley, channeling her inner Vince McMahon. How cool would it be to see Vince behind them? Now, we know we won't see him on television that often, but he kind of comes out, gives them the rub or two. How cool would that be? Last time we saw Vince on TV was shortly before WrestleMania when he was in the ring with Becky and Charlotte. And quite frankly, this is when he made Charlotte Flair the number one contender. A lot of people did not like it. And it was random. But it would be cool to see him not necessarily get involved in the storylines, but just kind of, backstage, giving him perks. So, but speaking of the WWE SmackDown Live Women's Championship, we have Nikki Cross as the new number one contender. She defeated Carmella, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and I'm looking right at the lady's name and I can't pronounce it. I said Carmella, Lacey Evans. She defeated them to become the number one contender. Now, this is a great story. Automatically writes itself. Here you have Nikki Cross who's essentially somebody who's smiling, always happy, even when people said she shouldn't be, said that Alexa Bliss was taking advantage of her. And now she's getting ready to go against Bayley for the championship. This is a great spot for Nikki Cross. Those who've been watching her knows that she can wrestle, she can put on a story. I actually loved her work with Bianca Belair down in NXT. But now, she's in a different role. So I'm very excited to see where they go with this. So that's going to be interesting nonetheless. I think, I do think they'll put on a good match. And, I'm sitting here thinking, we have Survivor Series coming up. But there's no doubt about it. Survivor Series isn't what it used to be. It isn't your traditional 4-on-4 or teams of 5 strive to survive. It's not that anymore. It's literally all about Raw versus SmackDown and champion versus champion. And then your tag team, a group of tag teams from Raw, a group of tag teams from SmackDown, and then your heavy hitters from Raw, your heavy hitters from SmackDown. But WWE has some great things coming up. And that Survivor Series concept is essentially getting in the way. And honestly, I would even say Crown Jewel, but I'm not going to look at it like that, right? Here's why. Crown Jewel is that house show overseas that because there is a WWE network, we're allowed to be a part of it. We're allowed to see it. So therefore, why not promote it over here and get you to watch it? So when I watch Crown Jewel or any of the super shows, I don't watch with a lot of high expectations. I literally watch it to see good wrestling or to be able to have the ability to tune into wrestling during my lunch break or as soon as I come home from work that day. But then you also have on the early morning shows, when they do go places like Australia, an opportunity for a guy like Buddy Murphy to be put over in his home country. So, it's 2 for 2. It's two different things there. But Survivor Series is getting in the way because right now you have some great stories brewing on SmackDown where, like I said, Nikki Cross versus Bayley. And then there's also Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, going into Friday Night SmackDown, we knew we were getting Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Match is a no contest, I think, or was disqualification. There was outside interference. Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan. They said, all right, 2-on-2 match, main event. Great match. Daniel Bryan pinned the champ. I'm watching, and I said, this is the match I want to see. You may say, why, right? Daniel Bryan, since 2013, has been my favorite wrestler. He surpassed Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart. So now, my favorite wrestlers, just for those out there, may be curious, they rank Daniel Bryan, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, The Rock, and that fifth was kind of interchangeable. Probably Mr. Perfect, right? Yeah, definitely Mr. Perfect. And then there's, Sting. And then rounding out the top 10, Sting, Bret, John Cena, Stone Cold. But nonetheless, so when Daniel Bryan went down, I looked at Shinsuke Nakamura. And I said, wow, you know what? I like this guy. This is a guy I want to be a champion. This is a guy I'm ready to get behind. I like his look. I like his skills. I love the music. Shinsuke turned heel after WrestleMania. Cool. You know what? It's a lot of fun to watch. So we move forward, right? Then we get Daniel Bryan. We get Shinsuke on the main roster. He's not successful against AJ Styles, but they put on a hell of a series of matches. When I saw these two in the ring, I said, wow, it reminded me of the time when we got Shinsuke and AJ Styles at Money in the Bank, and they gave us a teaser. Can you imagine Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship? That's going to steal the show. And it's the workhorse title. It already is, to me, it's always prestigious, I can pull out my IC title right now. Of course, I got the old one, the black one. It's a prestigious championship. Steamboat held the title. Savage, Perfect, Bret, Razor. Shout out. My boy Glenn got this signed for me by Razor Ramon. So, excuse me. So I look at that, and I said, you know what? Give me Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura. But Survivor Series is just getting in the way because we got to have Shinsuke versus AJ. We got to have Bayley versus Becky. Brock versus Seth for the third time this year, or fourth time. Yeah, technically it's the fourth time because remember Seth Brock cashed in. So, yeah, there's that. But, moving on. This past week, Kofi Kingston, he was backstage with the New Day. Talking about he was angry about losing the championship. Shout out to my boy Antonio Banks, my brother from high school. Put it to my attention. Kofi was ripping pancakes, smashing them. I hope they are planting a seed for something. I don't care what it is. Just keep Kofi Kingston in the main event. We saw for the 6 to 8 months that he was in the limelight. He was able to go from media circuit to media circuit to media circuit. People like Kofi Kingston. White, black, Hispanic, you name it. So hopefully they keep him there. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. So, but moving on. There's talks about the ratings dropping. And I tell people, yeah, I know I talked about the ratings for Smackdown. I mean, for WWE Backstage a week ago. And I said, you look at the ratings, they're good when you compare them to shows such as Undisputed, such as First Take. I know I said that, right? However, we also got to look at it like this. Ratings aren't the same. They're not. They're just not. You know, when they used to be a big deal. And I still think 600,000 people watching WWE Backstage is a big deal. But I'm not concerned that the ratings dropped on Friday Night SmackDown, knowing you have college football, you got movies, all those other things, high school football in local regions, all these things coming up. Granted, we know The Rock is not going to be there every week. So, but I am interested to see what happens. Next week is going to be a challenge. You have the World Series. Quite frankly, World Series being Washington, D.C., and somebody hook a brother with some tickets. You best believe I'll be there. So, I don't know, folks. Just nothing really, no major concern. I said that now we're getting ready to get into these so-called wars. AEW, NXT, SmackDown, Raw. We're finally going to be getting exactly what we can expect for the near future out of these shows. So, it's good wrestling coming up. Same with, the other ones. NWA Power, Impact, everything. Speaking of Impact, Bound for Glory will be, I'm recording this Sunday afternoon, so it's before Bound for Glory has happened. So, probably recap it on a midweek edition of Break It Down with Brian H. But, it's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'll be back after this.
Oh, okay. Time out, bro. Time out.
What?
Why do you have a book? Like we're trying to do this thing, and you're saying, and what's with the glasses, bro? Come on, no, man, seriously, yo.
I am trying to increase my superior wrestling intellect.
Seriously, through a book. What are you even reading? Through a book? And once again, you're throwing me off with the glasses, bro. Like I never seen you with glasses before. Why?
Listen, this is how, I can't be going around saying I have superior wrestling intellect, saying I know about wrestling if I'm not doing the research, the proper reading. It's important for me to do this so that I can expand my knowledge. Just because you don't read.
Listen, you can expand your knowledge just as much through the DVDs, Blu-rays, the networks, all kind. YouTube is out there. You don't need a book, bro. Especially while we're trying to film this. We trying to do this stuff, and you out there reading a book, talking about some superior wrestling intellect with a book, bro.
Because I want to make sure I'm on point.
Look, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna be on point with reading a book.
All right, yo.
I don't care. You can walk off the set. I don't care because I ain't reading a goddamn thing. You feel me? The Blu-ray got all the extras you need to know about whatever superior wrestling intellect, yo. Wait, bro. Come on, yo, we gotta shoot this stuff, man. They looking at me like I'm crazy right now. It's just me on the set, yo.
Well, you should watch what you say.
You came out there with a freaking book, bro. Like, what are you supposed to do with a book? Like, what? Are you serious?
Mr. Bryan Waters.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you have subscribed to the Wrestling Wrealm each and every week. You can find new content coming from the channel. When you're subscribed, you get everything. And share it with your friends. Tell your friend to tell a friend. Let them know about the Wrestling Wrealm. Follow us at Wrestling Wrealm on Twitter, Instagram, and like the Facebook fan page. So, moving on. Got a new segment I want to introduce. And this is called Around the Net, where I simply go through the internet and see what's going on in the world of wrestling that I want to talk about. This week's Around the Net brought to you by B Waters Productions. B Waters Productions, if you are looking to get a photo shoot done or you want that special day filmed, you want to capture, whether it's through photo or video, or perhaps you need some social media work done, some graphics, maybe you need a flyer done, simply contact B Waters Productions by going on Instagram, sending a DM, or visit brianhwaters.com/B Waters Productions. Also, like the fan page at Bryan H Waters -B Waters Productions. So, around the net, we have Justin Roberts making it official. He has signed with AEW, as he says, the contract, as they play on Tony Khan's name. Signs a deal with them. He said he thought wrestling career was over, thought it was past, but he's got that fire. So congratulations to Justin Roberts. May know him from his time with the WWE. Moving on. Hours after WWE 2K tweeted a video grab from the game of Tomaso Chomper versus Randy Orton, Chomper quote tweeted the video and wrote, "Considering Randy won't be facing Rock at Mania 36, I guess, ... First of all, this will be an incredible match. You have two of the best heels ever. I don't know who would be the face. I mean, I know Ciampa got that baby face pop right now, but he can instantly turn heel. And Randy, Randy can be an entertaining face, although I think he's a better heel. Nonetheless, I do think this will be an incredible match. Both of these guys are fun to watch. They're fun to watch in the ring because they can be technically sound when they have to, but then they could just be outright brutal. So, but I think a lot of us would love to see Rock versus Randy Orton. I mean, quite frankly, that's one of the few legends he hasn't faced. As far as people who, yes, we know they wrestled, they squared up, but I'm talking about in a one-on-one program. We've seen him with John Cena. We've seen him with Brock Lesnar, but we haven't seen him with a Randy Orton. Moving on, Ali has notified, he made it known that he will be donating his earnings from WWE Crown Jewel on October 31st to charity water. So shout out to Ali, always an inspiration, and he's making his donations to charity water. Also, moving on, as noted, there's been rumors that WWE is looking to sink their teeth into Japan and open up an NXT Japan. They've been trying to get this going. They tried to purchase Pro Wrestling Noah to use as a foundation for the NXT Japan brand, but the deal didn't work out. They also wanted to purchase Stardom. Somebody else brought Stardom. So they wanted to use these two as a base talent, kind of like the way they do for Evolve, But it hasn't happened, but I still don't think they're going to stop, as they know that's where they get a lot of great wrestlers. You look at a Finn Balor, a Kushida. When he was there, we saw that, Pac, he got his teeth really sunk in over in Japan. Obviously, Shinsuke Nakamura. But if you want to go back, Hakushi, Yoshitatsu. So, and then, of course, guys like AJ Styles, without a doubt, IWGP champion, the current tag team champions, the War Raiders. So, The Viking Raiders. I messed it up again. So it would be cool to see. I know that they do very well with NXT UK. And a lot of times you get to see talent that you wouldn't see elsewhere. And quite frankly, WWE has a lot of people on their roster. They wouldn't even need to go and get new talent because they could shift some over there. You look at NXT, it's a 2-hour show, and you still don't get to see everybody. I mean, the same goes for Raw and Smackdown. Also, Mike Bennett has officially asked for his release, and I believe he was granted his release from the WWE. Maria made it known she didn't ask for her release, but Mike Bennett basically said, look, I just don't want to, I'm not happy just sitting around collecting a paycheck and sitting in catering. He wants to wrestle. He wants to show his daughter that he can earn his money. There's no doubt about it. I always said this. I always thought that Mike Bennett arrived to the WWE years too late, a cup of coffee too late. I thought 2012, or kind of like that, before Ring of Honor really hit its height, but I thought 2012 would have been the perfect time for him. Thought he would have fit right in. That didn't happen. He's a part of WWE. Didn't really do much, unfortunately. So wish him well on his endeavors. Tonight, I'm down. I think I mentioned earlier, Bound for Glory. Tessa Blanchard looks to continue to make history. This time going for the X Division Championship. It'll be her in the ring with 5 other guys. So good luck to Tessa. We'll see what happens. No doubt about it. She's doing great things, killing it over there in Impact Wrestling. I know a lot of people say, oh, should you go to WWE? Go to WWE? Let's stop that right now. We need to stop the notion that so-and-so needs to go to WWE. And I think that's slowed down a little bit, especially with the evolve of AEW. But yeah, chill. And last from around the net, one of the coolest things I seen was this article recalling the time Andre the Giant was arrested when he slapped the cameraman. It was set up. They was doing a story on pro wrestling back in it was 89. Why do people like it even though it's still predetermined? It was up in Chicago. And the cameraman was told not to capture the squash match between Andre the Giant and Warrior. And the way I understood, he was trying to put his camera away or getting out of the way. Andre didn't like it, smacked the camera, did a lot of damage. And the guy said, look, I've never been in a fight before or after, and I got beat up in front of thousands of people. But, it was just interesting to see them retell that story. So there's that. Oh, one more thing around the net. Podcast, Arn Anderson. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I don't have a problem talk about other podcasts on here. Shout out to all the podcasters out there doing their thing. One of the things I enjoyed this week was the episode that I listened to was the 95 Flair versus Anderson. For me, this is around the time where I really 95 was where I really sank my teeth in WCW equally as the WWE. Yeah, I watched it as the other wrestling. Obviously, when the immortal Hulk Hogan went over, that's when I really became a fan. But 95 was the full year where I was really into it, right? And when they did Flair versus Anderson, the thing that was interesting was seeing Anderson and Flair. It was all the ruse to get over on Sting, which led to Sting versus Arn at Sting versus Flair at World War III. But you had the tag match. And then, but Anderson talks about Flair putting him over not once, not twice, but 3 times. And them just having a good match and making him a star so that when they did team up, it made him more credible. Because now Ric Flair has somebody. Flair was already Flair. But he has a guy, Anderson beat him, but they're stepping aside again, they're best friends. So it was a good listen. Not sure how much, didn't know how much I would like the podcast, but I'm interested to see where Conrad Thompson and Arn Anderson go, especially when we start getting into some of the WWE stuff. You heard him talk about Lana and Rusev, and he just said that he's hope everybody's happy with it. Quite frankly, Conrad said, what would you have done if they gave that script to you in 95, the same one that they gave to Lana, Rusev, and Lashley? And he simply said, rip it up, next. What else you got next? What else you got for me? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this edition of Break It Down with Brian H. Episode number 86. We know 86 is a great number. Why? It's the year I was born. So 86 is definitely a year of greatness. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Tell your friends. Go and drop a 5-star review. If you're on Spotify, check it out. Hit the follow button. If you're on Apple, hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review. YouTube, feel free to hop in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think? What are some thoughts? If you have some things you want me to talk about, bring it to my attention. Yeah, from the Wrealm, it'll be back soon. Don't worry. I'll take questions. Some shows are going to be more stacked than others. Some of them may be sporadically. Some of them may be spur of the moment. But until the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get notified every time the Wrestling Wrealm posts new content.